What's going on, guys? I'm James Keller MMA, and you're watching the Prospect Watch. Today, we have a very special, undefeated 3 0 amateur prospect fighting out of Gara, BJJ, by way of Muncie, Indiana. Please welcome Nasty Nate West! Nate West, how we doing today, man?
Not too bad, man. Just hanging out, just relaxing a little bit on this Sunday.
That's good to hear, man. Good to hear. Getting straight into business, you're set to fight Isaiah Yoakum for the Griggs Entertainment Bantamweight title on February 7th. You guys are both undefeated. You guys are both rising prospects. What is your mindset heading into this fight? What's your mentality been like throughout this camp?
Just bring the intensity, bring the pressure. Really focus on the cardio, so we can last these 5 rounds and make them exciting. And yeah, just keeping that relentless style and pressure, and getting after it in the gym every day. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, like I mentioned, Isaiah is 3 and 0. He has 2 finishes. Do you feel like he presents any challenges your previous opponents might not have?
yeah, definitely. Watching his fight footage, he's pretty good off his back. And not a lot of my opponents have had much or any jujitsu. Um, so that's going to be something I've had to train for and watch. I'm going to have to watch out for. But I don't see it as a real problem. Our styles of grappling are very different, and I think mine has the usually gets the upper hand. Um, but other than that, I mean, I don't really see him as a threat on the feet at all. Um, I think my stand up has really come together this camp, so I feel more like the more dangerous one there. So
Got you,
yeah.
got you. Well, you spoke about him not being a threat. You are the main event. You're fighting for your first amateur title. Do you feel like this is the biggest fight of your career so far?
Oh, definitely. There's a lot going on too outside the fight. I'll be having my daughter will be born 3 to 6 weeks after the fight, so it's
Congratulations, man.
appreciate
Congratulations.
it. So we'll be taking a little break after that, after this one. So I definitely want to go out with a bang on the year, because literally just a year ago I took my first fight. So um, and be just finish off this year good and go enjoy my family for a little while and then go defend the title hopefully.
Yes, sir. Will this be your first child?
Yeah, this is gonna be my first. Pretty excited.
Congratulations, man. That's a big deal. That's a big deal,
Appreciate it.
man.
Appreciate it.
Well, um, when February 7th gets here, what kind of fight are you expecting? Do you see this going to a decision, or do you see yourself finishing Isaiah?
I definitely am gonna be hunting for the finish. I think I can finish him. I do think that there is a possibility we could go the full 5, and I'm prepared either way. Um, he's a good fighter. He's a scrappy guy, so it could definitely end up being really fun and hopefully we get some brawls in there in the cage and have some fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, your most recent fight, you fought Andrew Moore. That fight went to a split decision. After such a closely contested fight, do you feel you need to remove any doubt by putting on, you know, a definitive performance moving forward in this next fight against Isaiah?
Um, yeah, I definitely there. Looking back at the D'Andrew Moore fight, I wasn't in the best shape. I don't think I took him as serious as I should have, and lesson learned there. Um, never underestimate your opponent coming into a fight. Uh, but I do think that those holes have been patched from that fight, and lessons that were of course learned, and I definitely think I'm going to be a real problem for Isaiah February.
Yes, sir. Well, both of your other victories came via rear naked choke. You spoke previously about you having the better jujitsu, better grappling. When the fight hits the ground or it turns into a grappling exchange, do you feel that is where your advantage really shows? Like that is where you can really control the fight?
Yeah, yeah. Due to my wrestling background, really, I feel like I can put some pressure on somebody and, um, you know, wear them out and really test their cardio and catch a couple of breaths while I'm at it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, what kind of wrestling background did you have? You wrestled in high school?
I wrestled for a couple of different programs that did a lot of traveling. I wrestled for Indiana Outlaws. I wrestled for um, or trained with CIA for a little bit over in Indy. So I've been around in the wrestling for a while. I've competed at pretty high levels at a young age. And then of course wrestled into high school. Only competed my freshman year, unfortunately, due to some family issues going on. Didn't get to compete the rest of my 3 years, but I definitely wish I would have. I think I could have, you know, been a top three in state for sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but here we are now at MMA and trying to get it there. So
Yes, sir. Well, you have been doing well in MMA. Your fight on February 7th is nearly a year after your amateur debut. Looking back on 2025, how would you describe your development from that February into this one?
Oh, insane development, leaps and bounds. I mean, I put my heart and soul into training and learning all of this. Like I said, I didn't reach my full potential in wrestling, and with a lot of outside distractions and issues going on around that, um, I feel like this is a little bit of my redemption. And I want to really show people I let down and people that were really rooting for me beforehand that I can actually do it and I can do big things in something like this. And that's exactly what I'm aiming to do. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I feel like you're in the perfect place. Speaking of 2025, you fought three times, you had three wins. You're getting right back in there in the beginning of 2026, with a win on February 7th. What is the next step for you? Are you looking to keep that same activity level in the year of 2026?
not really. Like I said, I have my daughter will be born, so I'm gonna take a step back and get a little fat and enjoy my family for a little bit and kind of help my fiance help her, get us into a routine with the baby and stuff, get all that stuff figured out, and then I'll definitely be back and ready to go chase more titles and chase big fights.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I get you 100%. So, are you looking to take the whole year off and then come back in the next 2027?
Man, I hope it's not the whole year. I don't want to spend that much time away from the cage. I like being in the spotlight and being in the cage, and doing my
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I don't want to spend too much time away, but you know, ultimately it's up to the old ladies. She gets the
Up to the
final say in
missus.
that
She's the
one.
boss.
Oh yeah, man.
I
Yeah, she
get
puts
you.
her foot down on that. So
100%. It's up to her. Well, a lot of fighters turn pro around that 4-0, 5-0 mark. Is that something that is in the back of your mind, or are you looking to still test yourself at that amateur level?
um, you know, with everything I have riding on the line now, going pro honestly doesn't sound bad.
Mm-hmm.
With having a kid and all that stuff, I'd rather do this to make some money. But the experience you get in amateurs, you know, it helps tremendously. And I definitely need to
Mm-hmm.
sharpen parts of my game before I am comfortable taking any pro fights. Um, but you know, maybe a few more fights at amateur and maybe a title defense or two, and then we'll move pro. So probably
Got you.
looking 2027, 2028, maybe. Uh, but
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's still early in your career. Like I said, it hasn't even been a full year yet since you've
right.
started. You've already climbed to 3-0, though. You have two finishes. fighting for an amateur title in your next fight, where do you see your future self in the sport of MMA? What does the future of Nasty Nate West look like?
Um, you know, hopefully traveling to bigger
Mm-hmm.
fights at some point. There's definitely some bigger promotions out there I'd like to get on. Some of those feeders into the bigger feeders for when you go pro. Those would be nice to get
Mm-hmm.
into. Definitely would like to uh, be on the Art of Scrap card here in Indiana, Fort Wayne. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but honestly, just once I get my break and all that's over with, really just taking everything we can and sharpening the tools.
Got you. Well, looking big picture, what does success for you look like long term in this sport?
I mean, definitely, eventually fighting for a UFC contract is everyone's goal in
Mm-hmm.
this, because that's the only place you have the only chance of making any money out of it, So, um, I think, yeah, I mean, just working towards that goal and staying focused.
Got you. Well, you fight out of Gara BJJ. Is there anybody that you're training with that you think is set to have a successful year in 2026? Someone you think we should have our eyes on?
Oh, definitely, man. All of us, really, all of us active guys. Uh, um, Jerry Pageant, he's one of them for sure. Colson Silcox. And then we got a couple pros, Wilson Lopshire and Gabe Urett. Those guys, Gabe's doing big things over at Dirty Boxing, and you know, uh, uh, Wilson fights for a title over at EFN here soon. So, yeah, there's some big things coming from us in 2026. All of us over there. Yeah, bunch of
Yeah,
us active and
sounds like your
and
gym
taking
is
fights,
filled with
man.
some straight
There's so
killers.
many, so many of
Yeah,
us out there.
yeah. Well, heading into your fight on February 7th, being the main event, does that at all impact the way you approach this matchup? Are you looking to make a statement knowing you are the last fight of the night?
Oh, definitely. I'm always going to aim to have, make an entertaining fight for the fans. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's how you build a fan base in this stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not afraid to just go ahead and focus on winning. Whatever that takes. If that's takedowns and hold them there, or whatever it takes, to get that win, because that's the ultimate goal. But definitely want to make this an exciting fight, if especially if it goes a full 5 rounds. This is definitely going to be a fight. If you are there in person, you're going to remember this one for sure.
Yes, sir. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight. It's gonna be a scrap. You spoke previously about your having a kid coming up. Is there anything that you could take away, from being a fighter that applies to your everyday life that you might, use in being a father and taking into fatherhood?
Oh, definitely. To be a fighter, you got to be a little delusional and crazy, in a good sense, in a sense of failure will never be an option. We
Mm-hmm.
fight out of hard positions constantly, in training. And when you're in training, a lot of the outside things don't matter. It's just surviving. And, I think I can
Mm-hmm.
take that mindset of, there is no such thing as failure when you have a kid. You can't fail. You gotta persevere through everything to give that child the life it deserves. And I definitely think training MMA and all that stuff is gonna make me a good father.
100%. I think that the mentality is gonna, 100% transition well. Speaking of your life outside of the cage, what are some things that you do to help you, decompress or de-stress?
Um, Man, really, I mean, really training. Training
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of it. I have a garage. I'm in it right now. You can see we got mats on the back of the walls. We're on mats right now. I got benches and everything in here. I get buddies come over and roll all the time, so that's a good outlet, you know. But you know, honestly, I work a pretty good job. I enjoy my job a lot, so there's not a lot of stress there. Honestly, I get to go there and just program a laser to cut metal, and it's pretty satisfying to watch sometimes. You know, it's not too bad. So, um, yeah, I mean, I really just there's not a lot of stress these days, so it's definitely been worse. So, um, just training, hanging out with my fiance, and trying to give us the life we want. You know.
Well, it sounds like you're living a good life, my man. Your nickname, you spoke previously about being exciting inside the cage. Your nickname, Nasty, has kind of sort of been a part of your identity. Does that nickname symbolize your reputation as a fighter, or what is the origin story behind it?
Well, honestly, it's kind of how I ended up fighting, but it kind of a couple of my buddies kind of started saying it here and there. Because we'd be in here training in the garage, you know, and someone would throw a cool, you know, a nice kick or, you know, something, and I'd be like, "Oh, that was nasty." I was always calling it, you know, random stuff nasty, and so that's just kind of it just kind of stuck, and then I got in the cage and started brawling with people and having fun, and guess it just kind of worked, you know, made it work.
It fits you perfectly, man. Well, when people look back on this main event, you know, this is your first fight for an amateur title, undefeated versus undefeated. What do you want them to take away in the grand scheme of all this?
Um, you know, man, really just yeah, I don't know. Mainly just it was a good fight, you know. I just want them to take, you know,
Right,
be remember both of our names, you know.
right.
Isaiah seems like a great dude, you know. He wished me luck in my last fight. You know, we kind of figured this matchup was going to happen right around the time I
Mm-hmm.
fought last, and he wished me luck. He seems like a cool dude, you know. But I just want, you know, people are going to remember our names after this one. This is going to be fireworks. We're going to put on a good show, and yeah, you know, I think he's going to get finished, but um,
Well,
it is what it is.
you guys are in the main. Yeah, you guys are in the main event for a reason. You're fighting, both fighting for the title for a reason. It's gonna be an amazing fight. I cannot wait. Do you have any coaches or any sponsors that you want to give a shout out? Anybody that's really helped you out throughout this camp?
Yeah. My coach is Jacob Herlock, Coach Matt, Kyle, all those guys. You know, they really taken me in. You know, I've actually, you know, I'm still kind of new to this gym,
Mm-hmm.
and they've really taken me in and you know and really cared for me and taught me some good things and helped sharpen my skills and they you know they've been honest with me too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they Jacob, you know, he's had the conversations, you know, where he thought I could be in over my head or, you know, really talked to me and said, "Hey, this is all I need out of you if we're going to schedule this fight," which I really appreciate, you know, and respect. And then, yeah, I got sponsors. I got Versatile Metalworks, 225 Degree Barbecue, CK Seal Coating, and uh, Maxwell's Barbershop. All those guys, you know, they made it possible for me to make some T-shirts and get some merch put out and all that good stuff. So, really appreciate them and their support
Yeah, shout out all the sponsors, man. It sounds like you have a great coaching system behind you.
for
Uh,
sure.
do you have a final message for your fans ahead of your fight against Isaiah Yoakum?
Message for my fans:
Mm-hmm.
buckle up. This is gonna be fun. Expect a good show. That's it. I mean,
Yes, sir.
it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna go into that cage and have some fun. That's all I'm worried about, man. I'm just gonna go have some fun and put on a show.
I can't wait. I know it's going to be a fun fight. Thank you so much, Nate, for the interview, man. I really appreciate it.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Well, you guys, That was the Nasty Nate West interview. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure you tune in to Griggs Entertainment February 7th, the main event for the Bantamweight title. You're not going to want to miss it. Nasty Nate West versus Isaiah the Mantis Yoakum. It's going to be a banger main event, banger title fight. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm out. Peace!